Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I say this with love 33. If this is your first time here, thank you for being here, and you are probably meant to be here if you found this video. If you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. My name is Leanne, and I am here to help heal humanity, to turn my pain into purpose. I offer the true, raw stories of my life, and today I would like to talk about and recap what I have manifested and how you can regain power in your life if you have lost it, if you have given it up, if you are completely unaware of what's going on in your world and what happened and how did things turn out to get to this point. Maybe something I say can help you get back to your power because we are the creator of our life. I did not believe that for my whole life. I'm 57 now. At 54, I woke up. I had a huge awakening, which started the process of my soul inspiring me to make changes and to understand and to learn and to get that I have the strength and the power to make changes. That's huge. And when I sit here and think about all the things that I have done in the past 3.5 years, whoa, you talk about like empowering. It's absolutely amazing. So to put a little backstory to this story is I was a person that always was unable to speak. I didn't allow my voice to be heard. I felt small. I didn't think that what I said had a lot to offer to any conversation. I didn't have boundaries. Essentially, like I had no good self-image and no self-confidence, although it looked like it from the outside, but inside, I had a lot of stuff to heal. And I wasn't aware of it. I thought that I was stoic and that I'm just getting through this life. Yeah, I had a tough childhood. Yeah, I had tough times, but who doesn't? Like life goes on, just get over it. I didn't understand that, yeah, that's true, but also it's not healthy and it's not okay to stuff things down and not acknowledge it and feel it and release it, because the more I stuff down and the more I just played it off like everything's great, everything's fine, the deeper and deeper and I would go into like a dark space and the higher of the wall that was being built in front of me. So this went on for like the first 54 years of my life. Yeah, I grew up, I had a tough childhood. I lived in poverty in an alcoholic home. My mom was not emotionally aware. I guess that's a good way to put it. We moved a lot. We didn't have structure. When I got older, my parents split. I never knew my biological father. I grew up early, very young. I became mature at a young age. I graduated high school. I got married at 20. I thought I was so old, but I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that's like just a baby. But I fell in love and I got married. I had my first kid at 24 and my second one at 26. So I got married. We had a home. We had our kids, a business. Like we had our beautiful little family, you know, and everything looked beautiful from the outside and all healthy, but unknowingly, because everything was buried in the subconscious, my wounded self and my husband's wounded self met each other and came together in our wounded self states and lived that way for 40 years until I had an awakening. My soul woke up and I spiritually woke up and I was like, whoa, like this is not healthy. This is not okay. This is toxic. I can't do this anymore. So I'm going to go back to number one, the first humongous change that I made in my life to start taking power back and realizing that everything I had is already within me. I just need to peel through the layers to get back to myself, to realize that. And that is a long process. That's huge. Takes a long time. It doesn't happen overnight. These things happened little by little each day. Absolutely beautiful and able for everybody out in this world to happen, to attain to. So let me offer you my story. When I was 54, as I mentioned, I had an awakening. It was in the middle of kind of a unhealthy narcissistic rage event happening, and it took place. I felt at peace. I felt that I'm never going to have to do this again. That whole day, I felt different. Something felt different. The next day, I knew something was different. Like this, not even a fight, but this rage from my ex-husband, this event is completely different. I've never felt this way before. In the past, I had always taken all the blame for everything. So if there was a fight or something was wrong or somebody didn't feel good or somebody got mad, it was my fault. I took the blame for it. So from the day of that awakening, I felt different. I'm like, okay, something's different. I don't know what it is, but I know something's different. And I allowed myself the space to just kind of like feel different. Yeah, I felt like a victim and wounded, like, wow, my husband shouldn't talk to me that way and he shouldn't yell at me. And you don't do that to somebody that you love, and poor me. I felt the poor me, the victim mode at that time because I hadn't learned and gained all the clarity of my co-creation in that relationship. I do know that now. So I said I needed space. It took a long time. Now, mind you, I had been with my ex-husband for 40 years. I allowed him to do everything. I gave up my power with everything. I was the sidekick. I was the one that handled everything in the home and took care and made sure everybody was okay and happy and fed and healthy and nobody had any problems. Like I was overly codependent and putting myself in places where I shouldn't because everybody has to fall down, make mistakes in order to grow. But I didn't know that then, and I know that now. But if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't be here. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. So let's fast forward a little bit. I took space away, stepped away from my husband and told him I needed space. I started, through the grace of God, mentioned by my daughter-in-law, to take a yoga class. I took a yoga class, and to be honest, that first moment I stepped in that yoga class, I felt a little awkward. I felt a little weird. I'm like, what if they're weird? Like, what if they're granola-y and hairy? And what if they're all like hippie-ish? Like, ew. Like, I was very judgmental at that whole point of my life. But I had myself go in there. Something was pulling me because I had to make changes and I could not go on living my life the way that I was living. I was broken inside. I was dead. I was scared. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was with my ex-husband for 40 years. I grew up with him. I allowed him to do everything. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to do anything for myself, basically. So to start making little changes, even like switching my phone from an Android to an iPhone, which he never wanted me to do, that was huge. That was a huge, scary event. That was the first huge step to like start to pull away that I did. And I went onto my son's phone plan. And when I did that, it was so scary and I thought I was just going to crumble and die. But as I allowed it to happen and I started to like make that change and accept that, I felt a little empowered. And then I kept going to yoga. I kept listening to their words and their affirmations, and I slowly started to understand and accept that I'm not an asshole. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not an idiot. I'm not all the horrific names that I allowed myself to be called. I allowed myself to feel those feelings, and I would cry. Like I would cry in the yoga class, like because like learning how to love yourself and start to build that relationship again with who you are as a person and not hold on to like regrets or choices that you made, or fear and guilt and shame and all the things. I should have done this. I should always be better. I didn't do this and I didn't do that. Nope. I just allowed myself to let that go and start to rebuild the love and trust and acceptance for myself. And as my mind and my emotional body started to get stronger, then my physical body started to get stronger. My shoulders and my hips were locked up. I couldn't even raise my arms up above my head at that time. My hips, like I could barely move side to side. I was only 54 and I'm like, I can't believe that this is happening. But it was all like the trauma and the pain and all the trapped energies inside my body for 54 years. But as I began to heal and build the strength within myself and allow my body to move and allow my body to release through tears, through sweat, through anything, it's okay. Like I'm allowed to feel. I didn't allow myself to heal, but through yoga, I started to allow myself to feel. And I'm just going to tell you, like, that is the most important thing in this world, is to allow yourself to feel. I never allowed myself to feel. I never followed my intuition. I would feel gut feelings throughout my life, like, ooh, that doesn't feel good, or somebody shouldn't talk to me like that. But I was just like, that's okay. I'm just not going to trust it. Let me just say, trust your gut, trust your instinct, because your soul and your body know. So I made that change, and that started to empower. Throughout a couple of years process, I became a preschool teacher. And that allowed me to gain the strength and the trust that I can manage children and a classroom and the curriculum and all the things that come with it. It was in an at-risk community, so my little students had hard lives. They had tough situations, which as an empath, I absorbed all that. So I learned that I am an empath and I absorb it, and it was exhausting and it was devastating. And I wanted to take each kid home and just raise them and just love them and let them know, like, it's going to be okay. But I know I can't do that. And now I know, like, but I was there each day to be a light in their life. And that brought strength and trust and opened up my heart chakra. I learned so much more from my students than I ever taught them. Just saying. So that gave me empowerment and enabled me to move forward on my path. Then I started hot yoga, and that's a whole different world of the breath work and the heat and focusing on the posture and the breath and making it through that hour of intense heat and sweating all the toxins out. And that was empowering. I opened a bank account in my own name. Without my ex-husband knowing, like all these little things that people take for granted, that you just do it because that's what you do when you grow up. But I never did that. So I was like a little kid learning and growing up for the first time at 54 years old, even to make a choice of like what I should have for dinner, or to make the choice when I kind of stepped back and away and started to like gray rock my ex-husband. I couldn't even talk deep, like, or be vulnerable, which I couldn't be vulnerable through most of my years, but to not be judged or criticized or put down for wanting to eat a certain way or not wanting to eat this, and to be able to go into a restaurant by myself and sit there in peace. I can't even describe the bliss that I felt walking into a restaurant by myself, with no expectations, no fakeness of with a smile on your face, and order what I want, when I want, eat however I want, without judgment or criticism or negative vibes. Like, oh, that was so empowering and beautiful. It's so beautiful. Then I'm going to say about 2.5 years into my healing process, I went into deep healing. I went to events on awakening your highest self and healing my inner child, and going back and learning about generational trauma and healing generational trauma and understanding why things take place and why my parents were the way they were and why my ex-husband was the way he was, and his parents and so on and so on, and 7 generations back. Like, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that come together and connect. And that brought me so much strength. I was opened my eyes. My sister brought me numerology and my numerology chart. I had never done that. My niece had given me a natal birth chart. That played a significant role of like understanding like who I am and when I was born. And I never allowed those things into my life because I was, a Christian that went to church, and church, the man at the church said it's bad and it's evil and you're going to go to hell and it's a sin. So don't do that stuff. And I became like aware of like, oh, you know what? If it feels good and it expands my heart, I know what's right for me. I know what's wrong for me. I'm not going to listen to some person tell me. So I began to like have that power of like, nope, just because you said it bad doesn't mean it's bad. Just because that whole corporation over there that's asking everybody for money and give me, or you're a sinner, or you have to come here and you have to confess and blah, 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 blah. That started feeling completely different in my heart. And I listened to my heart and my solar plexus and my whole soul. And the weight of fear and guilt and shame went away. The heavy, beautiful alignment of my soul and my heart and the awareness that I have, and I get the choice. I discern what's right for me and what's not. You can tell me something and I can listen, but if it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it. If it resonates and it does, I'm going to do it. That brought me so much empowerment, and it can do that to you. So I'm offering you these things and I'm telling you the story in hopes that I can touch one person out there, that if you're in a similar situation and you got stuff going on and you don't feel that you have any power or worth and you are broken, but you're stuck because you took vows or you made a choice and now you just got to deal with it. No, you don't. You have the power within to make a change. We are the co-creators of our life. So I had an awakening. I healed myself and learned how to love myself from within. I asked for a divorce. I did the whole divorce myself. I didn't hire attorneys. I went online and I did it all through the computer, not knowing how to be on the computer, not knowing what on God's earth I needed to do. But I found the strength and I went on YouTube and I figured it all out. I did the whole thing. Yeah, I had to do the paperwork about 3 times, but I did it. I did it all on my own. And I even guided my ex-husband through some of the things. I went through this divorce with love because I know that we had to spend that time together and learn lessons together. And I didn't hate him, but I wanted to be as gentle and loving as possible because, yeah, even though it was toxic and unhealthy, I co-created it. I played a part in it. And I do ultimately have love for him. So I wanted it to be as easy as possible in the dynamic, tough situation that a divorce is. So I went through the divorce. Finally, the divorce papers came and it was finalized. And I was like, yes, I did it. And it wasn't the divorce that I was happy about. It was the fact that I took the bull by the horns. I asked for the divorce. I initiated it. I filed it. I did the whole thing. No attorneys, no garbage, nothing. And I did it. I did it all by myself. And that brought me so much empowerment and like, Lee, yes, you got this, girl. You got this. You can do whatever you put your mind to. After that, during that, I sold my home. I got rid of all the old furniture because I'm like, I didn't even feel it. I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. I don't want all the furniture that I've had for the time with my ex-husband. I want new stuff. This is a new life. Like, that's not me anymore. Like, I was evolving into a whole new person. And I kind of felt that and I knew it, but I didn't realize the extent of it as I was going through with it. I was kind of in like, ew, I don't want that. Like, he bought that, or that was ours. Ew, I don't want any memory of that. But now looking back, I know that I was clearing out and cleansing out energies and physical things because I'm in a whole new energy, a whole new space. I'm a whole new person, and I am just so light. So I was able to get rid of my furniture, sell my house, move back into my old original home that we had bought 30 years ago. And I raised my kids in here for the first part of their life. I live in a home on my own, maintaining it, beautifying it, having so much peace and so much love for me and all the things that I learned to do. Because like I said, it was like a little kid learning how to do things for the first time. So not ever having to take care of anything on my own because my husband would do it. He would complain about it and I would hear about it and it would be a big dramatic event, but it happened and I just learned to shut it out. But now, you know what? I'm here. I'm present. I'm doing it. I got this. I got myself a housekeeper. I got myself a gardener. It's just absolutely amazing. You can have whatever you want to have. And when I look back and think, wow, like I always wanted to have like a white bedspread or like this or that. And now I have it. And I'm like, dang, like I manifested that. I manifested that. After the divorce and I was teaching and I moved back into my home and then I started a yoga teacher training for 3 months. And during that yoga teacher training, I started to have like shifts inside. And I'm like, gosh, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't want to work as a preschool teacher in an at-risk community anymore. Like that feels so heavy on my heart. And I really, really listened to my body and my heart. And I gave it time and I completed my training. And then at the end of the training, I told my yoga teacher, like, you know, I feel like my time is done, like learning about yoga and being present and slowing down life, slowing down the speech, quieting the mind and opening the heart, meditating, learning how to do that. That feels so beautiful and it expands my heart. And then when I go to my preschool and I'm with the kids in their at-risk families and the days are hard and their emotional stuff and all the things, I felt it contracting my heart. So I listened to my gut and I gave it a few months and then I went in and I told my boss, like, it's time for me to fly. I've learned my lessons here. I'm going to be moving on. And so I quit my job, basically retired, and I came to my home and basically for the last 6-7 months, I have just been like integrating with like, wow, I've been working since I was 15. Now I'm 57. I don't have to do this and I don't have to do that. And I don't have to live the way everybody tells me to live. Like I jumped off the matrix of the crazy train. Sitting on the freeways and rush hour traffic and hurrying and scurrying and hating your job, which I never hated my job, but it was stressful. But going about the life that we lead in this world of hurry, 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 go, 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 produce, produce, produce. And I allowed myself to just be, to just integrate. And that was hard, to allow myself to just surrender and be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I am where I'm supposed to be. And I trust myself. I trust that the universe has my back and that I am on the path that my soul came here to be. Now, yeah, I know people are out on the outside looking in like, oh, what is she going to do? Does she have financial security? This, that, you know, all the things that people conjure up that you have to do or have to be in order to be successful on this life. And I just like, you know what? I just went through the most transformational time of my life. I did it all on my own. I moved myself. I divorced myself. I got in a new home. Like I did it. I bought myself a new car. Like, holy crap. You can do whatever you put your mind to. It's available to all of us. And looking back the last 3.5 years, the amount of emotional growth, spiritual growth, physical health, like everything is so phenomenal. And it's available to all of us, all of us. It was a hard, long road, but I'm sharing these stories with you. And there's probably a lot more in there that I have forgot about. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just so unbelievable. Like sometimes I'm just like, dang, like looking around, like, is this really me? Did I really create this beautiful, peaceful life? My home is filled with peace and love. I'm present in my life. I don't force anything. I've learned to just flow. Like it is what it is. If it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not meant to be, it's not going to happen. And I'll have a little U-turn and there will be another door open for me. And now I have started the beginning of this year, 2026, with fire in my belly. Like I'm ready. I am ready to get out there and fully be a yoga teacher in a studio teaching hot yoga. Like I'm open whatever the universe brings to me. And there's so much contentment in my heart. And I know I'm here to help others, to put my story out there, to plant seeds and to inspire and to be an example, because I'm at 57, living on my own, doing my own thing, whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want, like, and having so much love, unconditional love for me and everybody else and everything else. It's just a beautiful place. And I cannot express that enough. So I just wanted to put this video out there. So like, I wanted to recap, like there's so many hard things in this life. And I know everybody goes through hard times and hard things. And your story might be a little different than mine, but you got it. You've got all the power and all the strength that you need within you to make a change in your life. You are the creator of your life. You can find things on YouTube. I found coaches. I found spiritual leaders. I found astrologers. Like there's so many little pieces of the puzzle. Human design, numerology, natal birth charts. Like it all plays a part in this universe and who we are as humans. And it sounds woo-woo, but it's not. It's how I live my life. I embody the woo-woo now, and it's so peaceful. I thank you for being here. I hope that this inspires you and maybe brings you some sense of strength. You got this. Everything we need is already within us, and we are completely always looking at outward sources to make us feel whole and validated. Nothing out there will validate you. It's you within yourself. So I offer you to go into meditations. I have videos on meditation. Allow yourself to quiet your mind and open your heart. Listen to that inner voice. Find your highest self. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I hope that every single one of you can continue to evolve and be at peace in your life and find your highest self. And I say this with love, 33. Namaste.